It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Matthew chapter 19 verse 24, KJV. What does that mean? Does that mean that rich folk don't go to heaven? Of course not. Let's explain. This verse is a powerful metaphor spoken by Jesus to illustrate how wealth can be a spiritual obstacle. Here's what it means. Literal image. The eye of a needle is the tiny hole in a sewing needle. A camel is one of the largest animals in the Middle East. Trying to fit a camel through that tiny hole is impossible, and that's the point. Literal image. The eye of a needle is the tiny hole in a sewing needle. A camel is one of the largest animals in the Middle East. Jesus is not condemning wealth itself, but warning that riches can lead to pride, greed, and self-reliance, making it harder to trust God. It's a warning that attachment to material things can keep people from fully following God. Historical notes. Some have suggested eye of the needle referred to a small gate in ancient cities, where a camel had to kneel and be unloaded to pass through, but there is no strong historical evidence for this. The best reading is hyperbole. Jesus uses an exaggerated image to make a strong spiritual point. What Jesus says next, after the disciples ask, "Who then can be saved?" Jesus replies, "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." Matthew chapter 19 verse 26. This means that salvation is only possible through God's grace, not through human effort or wealth. Now that we have discussed the interpretation of Matthew chapter 19, verse 24, let's move on to a little more history. 1. Camels in the Old Testament. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Camels appear frequently in the lives of the patriarchs. Genesis chapter 24. Abraham's servant brings camels when seeking a wife for Isaac. Camels were part of the wealth Abraham accumulated in Egypt. Genesis chapter 12 verse 16. Job's wealth. Job is described as owning 3,000 camels. Job chapter 1 verse 3, a sign of immense wealth. Ishmaelites and Midianites. These nomadic groups used camels to carry goods across long desert routes, such as the caravan that took Joseph to Egypt. Genesis chapter 37 verse 25. 2. Importance in daily life. Transportation. Camels were prized for crossing harsh deserts. Their ability to travel long distances with little water made them essential for travel and trade. Trade and commerce. Camels were a key part of ancient caravan routes, transporting spices, gold, incense, and textiles. They connected Egypt, Arabia, Mesopotamia, and beyond. Domestication. The domestication of camels is believed to have occurred around 2000 BCE, aligning with early biblical times. Archaeological evidence supports their use by the time of the patriarchs, especially in trade contexts.